In this video I will help you to get started in the world of Parallel. We will explore the game mechanics, then I will show you the best starter deck and best meta decks, and at the end we will finish with some essential tips that can really help you with your Parallel journey. So let's jump right into it. So on Parallel there are 5 different factions. Those are Agincourt, Qatari, Earthen, Marcolian and Shroud. Each one of those factions will have like his type of play, so I suggest to you to try in the game which one would fit the most for you. For example, Agincourt rely a lot on equipment, or Shroud rely a lot on banish, Earthen on defender, and so on. Then each one of those 5 factions have 3 different paragons. What are the paragons? Essentially those are like the heroes of Hearthstone, or like the gods in Gods Unchained, although there is a big difference that is a particular of this game, is that you can play your paragon in your board paying their mana cost. Each paragon then will have like its active ability and passive ability, and obviously deck building will be focused a lot on the paragon you will be playing in the deck. Now let's jump right into the cards. So on Parallel there are essentially 4 different type of card. There are creature card, relic card, upgrade card, and effect card. Creature cards have their mana cost with their health, attack, and a lot of times even an effect. Relics instead are cards that have their specific space on the board, and those will continue to stay on the board through all the game as long as those are not destroyed. Then there are upgrades that are essentially buff that you can play on your creature that will continue to stay attached to your creature, so you will literally have those linked to your creature. And then there are the effects that are like the spell in the other games, so have a one-time effect, so for example make 5 damage or destroy a creature or spawn some creature and so on. So you literally use those cards and those go into the waste. That is like the void of Parallel. So there are 10 different effects that the creature can have, and those are Master, as you can see, that is like Roar on Ghost Unchained, so essentially this effect procs when you first play the card, so when the card enter in the board. Then there is Assault, that is like Frenzied on Ghost Unchained, so it procs just when you have made damage on this turn to your opponent. Then we have Salvage, that is an effect mostly used on Agincourt. Essentially this effect will make possible to move your upgrade on a unit that died to another unit, but already that is essentially Blitz or God Blitz and so on, so you literally can play the card and attack the opponent creature or even their face. Pacifist instead is an effect that make not possible for that specific creature to attack, so that creature can still defend if as defender as ability, but can't attack. Then there is Defender, that is not like Taunt or Frontline in Gods Unchained, but is really nice because essentially you have the possibility to defend, but it's not a must to. So your opponent will declare an attack, for example, like your opponent wants to trade one of your minions. You can decide with your minion to defend or not to defend, so you have a lot of more line even on defensive, so it's more skilled in my opinion. Then Evasive, that can go through defender. Then we have Aftermath, that is like afterlife, so when the creature dies. Then there is Retaliate, that is an effect that proc each time a creature takes damage. And at the end there is Decay, that is at the end of the turn your creature will take 1 damage and even the creature next to it. So those were all the effects that a creature can have. A big particularity of Parallel is that you will not gain a mana each turn doing nothing, but you will have to bank a card. What does it mean, bank a card? Essentially you will have to discard a card and you will ramp for 1 mana forever, so you will always have this energy, is called there. And at the end of the turn, if you banked a card, you will even draw a card. Now you are into Parallel, you have the beta, you know the mechanics and how the game works. What should you do for start the game at the best? The best way for start the game is to do the rookie mode. The rookie mode essentially is a mode that will help you enter into the game and will show you all the different playstyle of the factions with their pre-made starter decks. So in my opinion you should complete the rookie mode, even because you win really good prize. You will win for each faction 1 starter deck, 2 packs and 1 legendary card of that faction. So is in my opinion a must to do before going into the ranked, even because if you play with a starter deck on ranked without having cards, you will just be beaten from everyone. So now you have completed the rookie mode and you claimed all the prize. You will ask, what is the best starter deck to start building on it? For that question, I have two answers. It kind of depends from what player you are. If you are more a control player, and even if you played already TCG on your life, or if you are like literally a newbie into this type of game. So, if you like more TCG and you played a lot more TCG, in my opinion the best starter deck is Shroud. I think this deck is the starter deck with the most potential. You can really play well with banished cards and so on, and is really a good starter deck. Obviously it's not really a good meta deck, but it's the best starter deck. Instead, if you are a new player into TCG or you are not that good since you are starting now on Parallel, I think the Qatari starter deck is the best one because is a bit easier to play and is more aggro-centered, so the deck play essentially like a zoo deck, so you play a lot of creature, you try to apply a lot of pressure, win the game fast, and doesn't require a lot of like skill deadline. And now guys, let's go on the last part of the video, that are the essential tips that can help you really to start better to play Parallel. Before those though, I would really appreciate if you can drop a subscribe, and even if you can follow me on Twitch, because I will stream and make more video about Parallel, so yeah, really would love if you can do that. And now the first tip that is really important, that I don't know why is not described well, is the crafting system. So what is the crafting system? Is essentially a system where you can break into piece, into shard or scrap your cards that you are not using, so of faction that you don't like to play, and with those scrap you can forge cards of the faction that you are using. Essentially you utilize useless card that you don't use in the game for improve your main deck. So this is really a big help for the people that are starting. At least it was really a big help for me, because a lot of the best cards are like rare cards or legendary cards, so you can like waste the cards that you have of higher rarity of the other archetype for improve your main deck. How do you do that? Essentially you go just on collection, then you go on cards, then you right click on one of your card like this one, and then you go on crafting, and as you can see there, you can destroy the card or craft the card. Now I can just destroy because I have the maximum amount of copy. Obviously based on the rarity you will get more scrap, or you will have to pay more scrap the more rare it is. And another thing is that you will not gain as much scrap as you destroy the cards. It's like a probably 4-1 or 5-1 even, so really if you can craft only the cards that you really need, because yeah, the price is kinda high, but trust me, this will help you really a lot into make a more competitive deck. The second tip I can give to you is to follow the meta. For what I saw, Parallel is really a good game, but I have to admit that now the balance is not the best thing. So if you follow the meta, you will improve a lot your win rate, because there are really some broken deck like Marcolian with Lemieux, or even Earthen with the old guy Paragon. So those are really broken decks, so if you really just want to win and go higher on rank, follow the meta, because as I said, the balance is not perfect, so if you play a meta deck you will have a lot of higher win rate. For now, as I said, the best decks are Marcolian and Earthen. I will leave the deck code in the description for those two. Then there is, in my opinion, Augencore and Shroud that are like in the middle, and the worst one is Qatari for the moment. That though was the best deck in the last meta. Things shift a lot, so be sure to even check the patch update. But now you will say, how can I make a meta deck if I'm starting now and I don't have all the cards? Well, don't worry, I have a solution for you. The solution is called Paragons DAO. Essentially, Paragons DAO will lend to you all the cards that you will need for play into the game in the NFT form. So in this way you will even start to make play to earn, so gaining prime every time you win. As you can see from this image, the amount of gaining that you have for each card NFT increase exponentially, and if you have all the deck in the NFT form, you will gain a lot more. And Paragons DAO will make that possible. Another super thing that they are building is priming, a site that will be super useful. This will be like a geodeck of Parallel. For who doesn't know geodeck, what does it mean? It will be a site full of statistics of gameplay, like for example average win rate of one card or match played and so on, and other than that even statistic about the finance part of the games, so like for example the number of NFT that there are, or the number of the owner of that NFT, PvP, or even more like transaction and so on. So the combo of the cards given by the Paragons DAO and their fantastic site will be for sure a big help for you to start into the game. So if you want to know more about them, there is the link in the description that you can click for enter in the Paragons DAO. And then guys, the last tip, that is essentially that you have to remember that you are playing a game, so you, in my opinion, have to having fun. So even if the meta is like for example Marcolian, if you don't like to play Marcolian, in my opinion it is not worth to play Marcolian, because still this should be a game. So for example myself, I am literally the one, I'm playing a troll deck with a combo OTK control deck, so it's not the best meta, but I'm having fun. Remember, you are playing a game, you gotta have fun, and even more important thing, the meta, as I said, will shift, so it's not worth, in my opinion, to craft card for a deck that you are not enjoying just because it's meta, even because probably this deck will be nerfed and probably the faction that you like will be buffed. So just play what you like. Obviously, if you have like two factions that you like and one is meta and one is not, play the one meta. But in my opinion, don't play a faction that you don't like to play, because you will just get bored.